Think about the building you're in right now. How much energy is just disappearing into thin air? It's this huge, invisible problem that's happening all around us. So today, we're going to dive into a pretty cool AI system that's designed to hunt down that waste and, well, put a stop to it.
So first things first, let's talk about this invisible energy drain. Before we get to the fix, we really need to understand just how big of a problem we're actually talking about here. And look, this isn't some small drip. It's a full-on flood. The average commercial building wastes a staggering 30% of its energy. Let that sink in for a second. That's basically like leaving the lights on in 1/3 of every office building all day, every single day. That's the scale of the challenge we're up against. Okay, so the big question is, how on earth do we stop this invisible drain? It's not as easy as just flipping a switch, right? To really get a handle on it, you have to dig into what's causing it in the first place. It's really kind of a perfect storm of issues. You've got this energy waste that just keeps going up. But the people managing these buildings, they're flying blind. They have no real way to see what's happening in real time, no tools to predict what's coming next. And all the while, the bills get bigger and the carbon footprint grows. It's clear there's a huge need for a solution that's smart, automatic, and doesn't cost a fortune. So what's the answer? Well, this is where our smart agent comes into the picture. Think of it as the new brain for the building. It's called the Smart Energy Optimization Agent, or SEOA for short. The easiest way to think about it is like a smart energy detective that lives in your building. It's a combination of AI and those little Internet of Things sensors. And its whole job is to take all that messy, raw energy data and turn it into simple advice you can actually use. So what does this detective actually do all day? Well, it has 4 main jobs. First, it keeps an eye on energy use as it's happening. Second, it uses that info to predict what's coming down the pipeline. Third, it spots anything weird, sudden spikes or waste. And finally, and this is the key part, it gives you personalized tips on how to save energy. That all sounds pretty great, but how does it actually pull it off? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside the AI's brain to see how it turns all that data into actual savings. It's a really straightforward 4-step process. First up, data comes in from all the sensors and smart meters. Then that data gets processed right there on site. From there, it gets sent to the heart of the operation, the AI core, where all the heavy lifting happens. And what comes out the other end? Super clear insights, dashboards, reports, and alerts that tell you exactly what's going on. When you get down to it, the AI's intelligence really boils down to a few key capabilities. You can almost think of them as the system's superpowers. And the first 2 are all about seeing the future and spotting trouble before it gets out of hand. The predicting the future part, that's done with something called time series forecasting. The AI looks at all the past data to make a really good guess about how much energy you're going to need tomorrow or even in the next hour. And spotting trouble is anomaly detection. Here, the AI acts like a watchdog, immediately barking when something's not right, like an AC unit acting up or a weird energy spike that just doesn't fit the normal pattern. But it doesn't stop there. The other 2 superpowers are just as important. The AI learns your building's unique quirks and habits through pattern recognition. It figures out the daily routines and where the hidden waste is. Then, it takes everything it's learned and uses a recommendation engine to give you smart, specific advice. So it's not just pointing out a problem, it's telling you how to solve it. Okay, so that's all the techie stuff. But what does all this fancy code and machine learning actually mean in the real world? Let's talk about the actual concrete savings. This right here is the headline number. The system is estimated to cut daily energy use by 10 to 20% for a home, an office, a school. That is a huge, real-world impact. And of course, cutting your energy use by 10 to 20% means one very important thing: lower electricity bills. I mean, this system could literally pay for itself just by slashing those monthly costs. And hey, beyond the money you save, there's a massive win for the environment. Every little bit of energy saved means less pressure on the power grid and a smaller carbon footprint for the building. It's all about building a greener community. So what really makes this solution stand out? A few things are pretty clever. First, the AI is super lightweight, so it can run on cheap hardware. We're talking something like a Raspberry Pi. It's also adaptive, which means it gets smarter over time as it learns your habits. It's designed to work in all kinds of buildings, and it gives you that dual insight. It doesn't just tell you what's going to happen, it tells you what you should do about it.
So this is already a pretty powerful tool, but this is really just the beginning. The roadmap for what's next is even more exciting.
Yeah, the future plans here are really ambitious. They're looking at things like integrating with solar panels to squeeze out every drop of green energy, talking back and forth with a smart grid to help balance demand, and even using sensors to know when people are in a room to adjust the lights and AC automatically. They're even planning for voice control and having the system automatically manage big appliances. It's wild. Which, it all leads to this one big question. As this kind of tech gets cheaper, smarter, and more common, are we heading for a future where every single building has its own AI energy coach working 24/7 in the background to make it more efficient? It's a pretty fascinating idea to think about.